Kayleen, how would you like to play Three Question Thursday?
I would love to play Three Question Thursday on a Friday.
All right. Oh, that's right. It's Friday in Australia. That's fantastic. You know what I didn't talk about? Your garden. And I know it's a really big deal. Not just the garden, but the whole concept of the garden. So let's talk about the garden a little bit. You started one a couple months ago. But
Yes.
you've even talked about a little bit, you know, what had happened to you, you felt like you were transplanted into a new
Yes.
life. Can you talk about that just a little bit? You're a transplant.
Yes. I feel like through this process and, praying, God's kind of picked me up and transplanted me somewhere else. And that somewhere else is getting back to basics, rediscovering who I am, what really matters to me and makes my heart sing, and where it's, not noisy. And I really had a strong pull. I felt God was wanting me to grow some food. And practically wise, I'm just going, well, because my business closed. So in March this year, my business closed and it's very quiet here. So I've, I hope he does leave a signature. Thank you. Posty, sorry. Oh, he's good. So it closed and what do I do with myself? I knew I'd be painting, but I had no energy for anything really, to be honest. I just needed to rest. God told me to rest. I rested. And then I really felt like I needed to contribute somehow, so I just thought, well, if I grow some food, it'll help us, and I felt God was showing me that, just grow a garden, like food garden, right? So I said to my husband, I told him the idea. Our backyard had been used as for the boys that's their dominion until now, and it had been just weeds and very short attempts at vegetable gardens, followed by no watering and weeds, and our backyard was just full of problem weeds and not much else. We had a couple of things growing, but not much else. And in the process of, I am one to absorb, just like when I started BLE, I just, watched all Noreen's interviews. I took in as much information as I can, followed some of the ladies around the internet, read up on food and, on cooking and all sorts of things, and to do it well. I like to do things well, and I don't like to spend a whole lot of investment energy into something and have it fail. I didn't want anything else to fail. Right? It's like, let's do this well. So I knew from past that a no-dig garden where you just put down newspaper or cardboard and a bit of straw and plant into that with a bit of nice soil, I knew that worked well because I'd experimented with it many years ago, when it was a bit of a rage over here at one stage. That was, in the 1990 somethings. So I thought I'll do that. But in the process, I discovered about soil. Here I am thinking I knew that plants needed mulch to keep moisture in, but we fertilised, etc. But we don't actually fertilise the plants. Plants are fed by the little microorganisms and fungi, and everything in the soil feeds feeds the plants, and the sun feeds the plants. So I had to improve the soil, and God started speaking to me straight away. I started growing seeds initially, and I'm watching these little baby seeds sprout up and come to life. They were nothing before, nothing. And they come to, and I'm looking at these seeds going, you look pretty non-essential, but you're going to grow and grow, and eventually you're going to produce fruit, and you're going to be very essential. And small starts, and I watched these things grow, and they were like my little baby. I was protective over them, just like, but I kill them. When I got my worms, it's like, oh, I hope I don't kill my worms.
Wow.
So, you know, so God starts speaking to me just with pictures, you know, look, like this is like you, or like this is like, you know, this, look at the way the plant grows, the soil, all the inner world, you know, the little things that you don't see, your inner life, your what's in here. That's what feeds the plant. The plant comes up and then it grows leaves and it stretches its leaves out, and the sun, which is, you know, symbolic for me of Jesus, the sun feeds that plant. The photosynthesis comes into the plant, strengthens the plant, goes into the roots. And even if you've got a plant that's dormant in the winter, that's what it does. It comes out, throws its leaves out, pulls in the sun, and that keeps it strong over the winter to come out and grow. So it was like, I need to look after the soil, and I need to look after me, my inner soil, and I need to reach out for the sun. Wow. And the sun will strengthen me. That's why that painting is behind me.
And I gotta say, let's go to question number 2. So you have an example of your painting right behind you.
I can move so you can see.
This is amazing. So
it's huge, so it's a bit of a.
And I know you're not going to say it, but I want to throw out your website too, which is Kayleen, Kayleen West, WEST.com.au. Okay. What would someone be able to find there at your website? And I know you wouldn't want to do this, but I want to know.
Well, when you reach the homepage, that is on the homepage, because I sell prints and limited edition prints of that. It's called My Deliverer. That is the first. That was why I moved into the shop to paint that painting.
Wow.
That was, it was like I had this vision. I saw everything, the size, the image, and I had to get it out of my head down onto that canvas. And so that came out of there.
What is your mode of painting? What kind do you paint? I know
that's an oil paint, but I work in all mediums. I work in pastel, watercolor. I draw, but yeah, oil is probably my main medium. But yeah, so that's on there. That my shop takes you to. There's art supplies and that. Now, in the US, it's a bit more tricky to get stuff, but I do ship the prints to the US and artwork.
Well, that was question number 2. So question number 3, I have to say something about restoring the pieces of the puzzle, because you mentioned that very briefly the other day, but can you tell me what that means to you?
Pieces of me. I think what all this has shown me, that I needed to go back to the bare necessities, you know, the basics. I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us need to go back to looking after ourselves, eating well. I do believe we all probably should have a go at growing some food. Our food is, a lot of it's terrible. It's, it's full of all sorts of terrible things. The more healthy food we can have in our bodies, better off. And we can grow things that you just can't get in the shops because it's just not viable for them to, they wilt or whatever before they get to us. So there's, so much more variety of, minerals and vitamins and stuff by doing that. So I've gone back to painting, and the garden, which is just, and getting out in the sun and moving, and that's created all that. And all those things for me personally, those pieces are pieces that I used to have in my life before the original trauma that I had. I had a beautiful garden. I grew vegetables. I painted all the time. You know, there was a lot of things, that elements in my life that got stripped away then. And, you know, I had to move, and there was all sorts of, you know, my whole life did a big like that. So it's like, not God picking me up and transplanting me, not back in that life, but in a new life that has all the things that gave me joy, that made me healthy, that gave me peace. So I think it's really important for us to start working on that. Me seeing that photo, going, I need to do something about, not having the answer, but I got the answer. Once I had the answer, I thought I'll just start there. And that's where I felt I started. I mean, I was painting and that, but I had stopped doing everything because I was not in a great place.
Right.
So I think we've got to start somewhere. That's a great place to start, because that's going to affect your mind, make it clearer, affect your body, give you more confidence, like all those things that kick off other things. You know, growing the food kicked off other things. You know, my kids like, you know, thinking about growing these gardens and that. My grandson just,
it gets contagious, I tell you. I know.
My grandson has boots here, these little tiny boots, and every time he comes to Nana's place, he just picks them up and goes, look, we're going outside, I'm going out to dig. Like,
that's so sweet. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Kayleen, what a great opportunity to talk with you tonight. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for playing 3 Question Thursday. It's been so great to get to know you. Any last words? I'll just give you a chance.
I just hope everyone here is blessed by something there. You know, every time I watch one of these, I pick up a little gem, add it to my little rock pile, and continue on. I would like to say that if you're on this or go on this and you deviate and you fall off a bit, remember what they talk about, being unstoppable. I think the most crucial thing is to know that you've got this tool to return to. Just make sure you do. Like, just as long as you keep going, as long as even if you're struggling, as long as you keep going with that in the forefront of your mind, that is my life. That, like, I need to do that for me. And even if I'm not doing that really well right now, I'll get there, because you will. Like, we'll have our ups and downs and stuff, and we might have, there's crystal, what they call crystal vases, but I'd love to be one, but I'm not. But I'm not going to give up. Don't give up on yourself. Be unstoppable. Be that overcomer. I love that song.
Absolutely.
We are overcomers if we believe we are overcomers. So,
I agree. So wonderful. Thank you again. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Good night. Stay bright.